Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott. The program in which you are listening to is called Can We Talk? I'm here with my son,
Charles Scott Jr. How you guys doing today?
And today we're going to give you some more information about the housing market and the economies, some of the things that are going on. Every week we try to be as informative as possible to give you an idea of what's happening within the previous week. Again, just to give you a little bit of information about us, we are actually brokers, Tri-State Realty, and we handle the state of Connecticut, especially Fairfield County and New Haven County.
Yes.
And a lot of things are happening out there in the real estate market and in the rental market. So we thought we'd chime in today, give you some more information so that you can watch these series. Actually, you can go on to YouTube, I think it is. And
so YouTube and type in Can We Talk, and Tri-State Realty will definitely come up.
And you'll see some of the other segments that we've also recorded. In the past week, we were just discussing how the Federal Reserve is actually controlling a lot of what's happening within the marketplace right now.
They're meeting next week, right? Next Wednesday.
What is it, November?
November 2nd they're meeting again, but this time they're meeting, they think they're going to be what they call hawkish, which means there's going to be another predictable 0.75 basis points coming. But we're going to see as they meet at the end of the year, they could be what they call dovish, which means they only hiked their interest rate up 50 basis points.
But one thing is pretty certain is that the interest rates will go up.
Yeah, exactly. They're going up.
And, as long as you know that, it's not a shock. In other words, take, for example, a stock market. Before, when the interest rates were going up, people said, oh, the stock market's going to get rattled and people are going to start selling off. But last interest rate increase that they went up, nothing happened.
You see that? Yeah, that's one thing I saw in the news where the first two times that the interest rate went up 0.75 basis points in a row, there was a large sell-off at the stock market. But this past increase, it was like they got used to it. They said, okay, we knew this was coming, so they didn't sell off as much. So that is also a good sign that the economy is getting more stable.
Not only that, they expected it. And so what's all of that mean? In other words, people with millions of dollars and billions of dollars, they don't get rattled. They don't get nervous because especially they just factor that into their daily life and they factor that into their investments.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we're trying to explain to you on this particular program is that if you have some idea of what's going to happen in the future, then it's not like you're getting knocked over and
you can better prepare for it.
You're preparing for it. In other words, if you know that there's a product, if you're in retail and you are selling clothes, then you know that the majority of the people want a certain brand, then you're not going to sell the opposite of that.
Exactly. You're going to sell what's in demand.
You sell out what you have, and you order in the next shipment those items that people are going to be looking for. In the grocery store and the clothing and all of advertising, they try to target market. They give you what you're looking for.
Yes.
So the same thing happens in your life. Whether you're dealing with real estate, whether you're dealing with investments, you have to gear it towards those items that are going to make a difference. I think if you have a 401k out there, I think it's once a year they give you an opportunity to revisit and to decide where you want to allocate your money to go. You just don't put it in there and sit back and say, well, that's it.
Some people do.
I mean, some people do.
They sit there and say, hey, why isn't my money going up? Well, you didn't diversify or you just leave it in there.
Right. In order to get ahead, one of the things that we want to teach you and maybe talk about today is that you have to diversify. You have to put some time in as to what you're doing. If you got a 401k program out there and they usually give you 10 different choices or 10 different allocations. You can put 10% here, 10% here, 10% there. So if you're a young person and you got many years to live and you can afford the ups and downs of the stock market, then you can take a little bit of risk.
Yeah, be more volatile, put in those riskier stocks.
Exactly. And if you're getting ready to retire in 4 or 5 years, well, you're not going to put your money in the majority of it into a high risk.
Put those in the blue chip stocks.
Yes. Put it in something that you know that people are always going to need. People are always going to need energy. They're always going to need oil. They're going to need gas. They're going to need electricity. They're going to need food.
Now, one thing we want to mention is people may not realize this. You can use your 401k as, down payment assistance. You can use that money in there to help you get a down payment for a house and closing costs. People don't realize that.
And this is what's been happening recently. As you said, you could use that 401k to put down payment on a house. Look at it this way. What is the purpose of a 401k in the first place? It's for your retirement, and you want to save up some money. And right now, with real estate, they always say buy on the dip. When the prices are going up, and then when everything comes down, that's the time you buy. Same thing in the stock market.
Yes.
I listen to a lot of, I listen to all the time to XM Radio, and I listen to Bloomberg Report, and I listen to all of the investment channels and business news and everything. And they're all saying, well, with this is going to come a lot of opportunities.
Exactly.
People have been saving up their money. They're saving up their cash. And they're ready to pounce on all of the opportunities that are going to be out there. That's why when you see the stock market, they don't sell off everything, because for every time that there's a seller, there's a buyer. Exactly. Someone waiting to buy it.
Now, when people say buy the dip, what I'll say is what I've heard a lot of terms people say is don't try to catch a falling knife. Don't try to plan the perfect time to buy. Buy when you can, because people may say this is the bottom, realize that's not the bottom. That's the bottom of the other bottom. Buy when you're ready to go. You have your pre-approval, and you start shopping for a house. Buy when it's time to get in. When you're in the market, that's when you're good. Don't stay on the sidelines. Like some people say, I'll wait till next year when interest rates go down. That may not happen.
Not only that, a lot of people years ago were saying, oh, I'm going to wait and buy, I'm going to wait and buy, I'm going to wait and buy. Well, that opportunity, when the prices were real low and the interest rates were 2.5%, they were still waiting.
They were still waiting.
Now you call them, well, I'm still waiting. Well, I guess so. Now things have gone up a little bit. So that what's going to happen is that the main thing is to do your homework and jump in there. Because
jump in there.
Even though the interest rates go up, prices come down. And we are starting to see prices come down.
We're starting to see that, yes.
Because that's the purpose of the Federal Reserve. What the Federal Reserve is doing is that they have been, one thing about them this time around is that they've been pretty adamant. They're saying we're not going to change courses until things get back to the way we want them to get.
Correct.
And the Federal Reserve makes up their minds regardless of politics, regardless of who's president.
Oh yeah.
They don't care. There's a lot of newspaper articles that you see and a lot of speculation. But we talk a lot about the Federal Reserve here because the Federal Reserve is something that many of you out there should be adhering to and reading about and looking at. It
influences a lot of things, from your car purchases, your credit cards, buying a home. It controls a lot of things.
All of these things are considered, within the Federal Reserve. Some people, when I was younger, I remember I used to walk by, they used to have these storefronts, and all the investors used to be packed in. There was a place in Waterbury, and I remember it was on Grand Street. And all the investors would be in there, and there was like a regular storefronts, and they had a big ticker tape going across the wall, and there was like all these little numbers. And I used to say, these people come in, they sit all day long, and all they do is look up at numbers all day long going across the screen.
Right. And
I say, I can't make any money doing that. And it was amazing to me to see all of these business people come there and sit down and just look at a screen all day long, and they would get all excited. One number would come across.
Football game or something.
Yeah,
right?
They would get. To me, it was foreign language. I'm like, just a lot of numbers going by.
Right.
I would compare it to going to an off-track betting.
Yeah, right.
They're looking at the screen and
hoping that their dog wins the race.
And they're betting their money and by the time that ticker tape goes around, it might be 15, 20 minutes, but by the time it comes back again, they might have made $50,000 or lost $50,000 because of the stock going up or down or up or down or up or down.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that you out there in the audience and many of you people that are looking to invest, maybe you can't do it on a large scale basis like that, but you do have control.
I will say with the real estate, one people may say, because we had a client recently, They didn't realize you can use your 401k to help you with your down payment assistance. And think about your money in a 401k, when you take it out, it's like you're taking a loan. You have to pay it back anyway. But think about, you're using that money to buy a house, which is going to build equity. And as we've seen over the past few years, the house makes more money than you could ever do. Your house earns more salary than you could ever make because the equity is appreciating in your house.
That's right.
Very true.
And you can take money or you used to, we're not accountants, out of your 401k in case you become unemployed, if you get sick, and in case you want to buy a house, and also for education.
Oh, yes.
Without paying a penalty.
Yes, exactly.
Because remember, you put the money in, and you haven't paid taxes on that money.
It's pre-tax money.
It's called pre-tax money. Now, what's that mean out there? It means that if you are making $20 an hour, and you work 5 hours, you made $100. Normally in your paycheck, it will show you made $100, but you paid, let's say, 20% tax.
Exactly.
So you only bring home $80 because the rest of it goes to Uncle Sam. Now, if you put it in a 401k, you made $100, the same $100, but they don't take any taxes out. The whole $100 gets invested for you.
Exactly.
So the purpose of the 401k and the benefit is that the money you make on that 401k, 100% of what you made goes in there, and there's no taxes taken out.
Until you turn 65.
Right.
It's
now,
a lesser tax fee too.
Exactly. When you retire, that's when they take the tax out. But then maybe instead of paying $20 on that $100 in taxes, maybe you only pay 10, maybe you only pay 15. Because you're older, you don't make as much money, so there's less taxes that you pay on that money. So you see, that's a benefit in being able to do that with your 401k.
Exactly. And some people may say, well, I don't work for a big company, we don't have a 401k. What you can actually do is get an IRA, an individual retirement account.
Right, you can set up your own account.
Set up your own account, which is very possible.
And even businesses can set up their own individual accounts for the owner and for the employees.
Yes.
And the IRS will look at it. So there's many, many ways in which you can do to set up money for your future.
Yes.
But the main thing is to start.
Yeah, to start. That's the main thing.
To start.
And earlier the better.
Be regimented and also be determined.
Yes.
Because
if you're at a job, they'll take it out your paycheck every paycheck. But if you're self-employed, you have to have the self-discipline in order to fund that account yourself.
And these are some of the things that we explain to you, that you have to be self-disciplined. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money.
No, it doesn't.
Imagine if you save $10 a week out of all the money that you make. They always said, you should pay yourself first.
Yep, pay yourself first.
If you save $10 a week, it's $40 a month, that's $500 a year. The whole secret is to be consistent. If you did that for let's say 10 years and you saved up that money, you're saving up 500 times 10 years, that's $5,000.
Not counting the interest it'll be building from just compound interest.
Right. That we'll have to get into a discussion one day on the rule of 72.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Many people out there, if you do anything this week, Google the rule of 72.
Yes, definitely.
So the rule of 72, it shows you how your money works for you and how the interest rate helps make you money, because what happens is your money doubles.
Exactly.
And then when it doubles again, but it doesn't double from the original amount, it doubles from the new amount.
And when people can understand, learning the rule of 72, you'll understand how these companies can use that same rule, I'll say, against you when it comes to debt and credit cards. That compound interest, it comes and comes.
It comes and comes, and it builds up, and it builds up, and it builds up.
Yes.
So then rather than have them build it against you, what you do is you save up some money for yourself.
It has to work for you.
Exactly, and invest your money in things that make money versus cars and clothes and all the other things that are
income-producing assets, something
exactly.
That's what people should invest in.
You should invest in yourself as a brand. You are your own brand. You are the most important thing in your life. You're your most important investment vehicle. When I think about that, I looked at the article the other day, and I was looking where a lot of these major clothing companies, they burn up billions of dollars of new merchandise every
Oh,
year.
yeah.
They burn it up.
They don't want to go to those thrift stores, you know.
They burn it up. They actually, clothing stores, and I'm not going to name them, but the top clothing stores out there, when they have merchandise that's left over from one year or that they can't sell, they take that merchandise out to the landfill,
They destroy it.
out to the ocean. They set it on fire. They burn it up and start all over again. Merchandise that, and this is mostly done with the top end.
Luxury.
People that spend a dress that costs $2,000, $5,000.
Exactly.
At the end of the year, they can't sell it. They take it out and they burn it up.
Someone may say, why do they do that? They could donate it to the poor, to charities.
Exactly.
But then, we'll tell them what happens next.
Well, the reason why they do that is because they want to keep the item scarce, so that you'll pay more money for it. If they were to turn around and donate it to charity, if they were to give these items away, then they flood the market with these items, then they can't charge $2,000 for that dress. They can only charge $500 for that dress. So they actually factor in that they're going to make more money by destroying half the merchandise and keeping the market high. You see that happening even with real estate.
Yes.
You know?
Demand is there.
Prices should be down a lot more than they are, but they're not. Why? Because
Inventory.
you don't have the inventory.
Inventory is very low. Supply and demand.
Yeah, what'll bring the prices down a lot is if we had a big development and we went out and built 200 houses, brand new houses, then the prices would all drop down.
Exactly.
So a lot of these manufacturers, they of exclusive brands. Even I saw that in like you take watches like a Rolex. Everybody knows that name.
Exactly.
You know, they can sell for $25,000 a piece. And I saw where they only make so many a year, and if they don't sell those watches, they send them back and take them apart.
Yeah, take them apart.
And put it into a new brand.
Isn't that something?
Because they don't want to keep it out there and have the price go down. They don't
want that Rolex ending up at a discount store and say, oh, we got a batch of Rolexes in. That's going to dilute the brand, basically.
Right. You would think that if they had too many to sell, that they would then reduce the price. But they figure, no, we're not doing that. The ones that we got left over, we'll take the parts out of that one,
recycle,
name it a new name, and keep the price high. So that if you can't afford it, then that's our price. We're not lowering the price.
Exactly.
And if you're out there and you're listening, a lot of this stuff you have to understand is how the economy works and how things occur. The Federal Reserve, they do the same thing in a way, but they do the opposite of that, where they figure that there's too little goods out there, so the price has all gone up.
Exactly.
So they've got to be able to put more goods out there, but in order to put more goods out there, they have to be priced right. There has to be competition. This is why in America you have, free enterprise.
Exactly. Capitalism.
And capitalism is supposed to be, the way it's ultimately supposed to work is that if you have a lot of competition, then that keeps the prices down. If you have very little competition, then your prices soar high.
Exactly.
So the whole secret is to have more competition. That's why what happens is that now we're talking about unemployment, we're talking about people that losing their jobs and people have their jobs. What the government wants to do is for everybody to have small businesses. They make their money on small businesses.
Exactly. Now you think some people say these businesses don't pay taxes. Well, the thing is they're hiring people. They're putting people into the system of paying taxes, W-2s. Which is why a business owner will get the tax deferrals or tax breaks, as they call them, because he's bringing people into the system paying taxes every week, federal tax and everything else, that it helps the government out. So they reward the business owner by giving him tax breaks.
Exactly. And when you look at it, what's happening is that the government wants encourages small business. A lot of people say, oh, they give business all these breaks and they give all of the benefits to the business and money to businesses. You can get money, you can get grant money. You know, this guy used to come on TV. Oh, you can get money from this source, that source. He had the polka dot suit on. The question mark guy.
Yeah.
He said, send for my free book. The government wants you to be in business. The government is giving out money to everybody out there, grant money,
forgivable loans.
And the thing is, it's true.
Yes.
And the government has more money that goes unclaimed than people actually ask for.
Exactly.
The state of Connecticut has got money right now for small women development, minority development, this development, grant money for that. Why is that? Well, look at it this way. If you give the business owner all the money, and the government gives the business money, the owner all of the money, then he can come to, let's say, Tri-State Realty, and we sell him one house. But now, let's say they give the money to the business owner as a grant and give him even free money, and he buys a building, and now he employs 25 people, and he pays those 25 people salary every week.
Takes taxes out.
Now, number one, the government loves that. Why?
They love that.
Because the owner is doing their job. He's paying them money and taking taxes out of all 25 of those people's money. And what's he doing? He's putting it aside in the bank, and then he's sending it to the government.
Yep.
Payroll tax.
Payroll tax.
So they're like, oh man, you're a great guy. You've created 25 jobs, and you're sending us all this money every single week from all of those people that you took that money out. They're saying, hey, why don't you do that again? Why don't you open up 5 more factories?
Exactly.
Why don't you? We're going to give you all the money you need because you're really good, doing us a favor.
You have a good track record.
And you're putting all of this money out there, and you're sending part of it, 25% of it, right back to us. So how much more money do you need? And you might say, as the business owner might say, is, well, hey, you know, this is going up, that's going up. I need grant money. I need some free money to get started on my next business. So the government will say, how much do you need? Oh, here's some free money. Here's some money to do this. And then, you know, you always hear about the business having the tax write-offs.
Yes.
Because now the business owner will say, well, I'm not making that much profit. I need to be able to, you know, if you want me to buy some new equipment, the equipment is expensive, and the taxes on the equipment is expensive. So why don't you let me buy the equipment and not pay any taxes on the equipment? Exactly. And the government will say, oh, sure. How many jobs are you going to create? Oh, 10 more jobs. Oh, how much equipment do you need? Here's the money.
Exactly.
Here's the money. Now, how does that help other people? Well, now, instead of that one business owner going to the store and buying groceries, there's 25 people going to the store to buy groceries.
The wealth is being distributed.
Right. Now versus that one business owner buying one big house, we've got 25 customers buying 25 homes.
Exactly.
So now he gets rewarded. The government is rewarding that business owner by giving him tax breaks, free money, free this, free that. He can go on a business trip. He can go to California. He can go away for a week on vacation, a business trip, write it off as a business expense. And they're saying to the business owner, hey, the more education you get, the more ideas you get, the more chances you take, more money we're going to give you.
So they give more money to open up more
So they
businesses.
give more money.
Exactly.
So this is called free enterprise. This is how the business world works.
Exactly.
And if you're going to get wealthy, it's geared towards owning a business or being self-employed.
Yes.
Because as a worker, you're feeding the system. You're feeding into the system because you're working, and part of what you're working is getting taken away from you.
You're paying tax first. Your tax is taken out before you even get your paycheck.
And who's taking it out? The employer.
Exactly.
So why don't you become the employer? Start a small business. You know, I was looking the other night and was saying, what do you do when times are down? Some of the top 5 businesses to get into. And it was saying, okay, which cost you a very a small amount of money. Okay, let's take, for example, landscaping.
Oh, yes, yes.
go out and get yourself a lawnmower, a couple of rakes, and a little pickup truck.
Or depending where you're at, a shovel. That's
shovel.
one of the easiest ones. Start shoveling snow.
Put a little ad in the paper, you're providing labor. You know, hire yourself, your cousin, your nephew, a couple of workers, go out and start cutting
Or how about
grass.
this? I'll tell people another strategy you can do. You know, you get those emails, everyone gets those neighborhood emails that say what's going on in the neighborhood. Why not make a post saying, I'm shoveling snow for this like for example, we're in the Overlook group. You just put out there on the internet, people will call you, shovel snow, cut grass. Very easy to start a landscaping company, I would say.
So there's a business right there. You're in business.
Yes.
Government's going to help you, give you
Oh, yeah.
free money
Make an LLC too.
right off your taxes. Pay your employees. Now you created a couple of jobs for a couple of your friends.
Exactly.
Another business that you might want to get into, cars. What was it? I saw one guy there. He was power washing cars and
Oh, yes.
detailing. That's what I'm trying to think of. He was detailing cars. So he
Yes.
would clean up the car, vacuum the car.
Yes, cleaning cars.
And he had a power washer. You know, you can go to a place like Home Depot, a lot of these places now, and buy a power washer. It's very inexpensive, or even rent one. And now you can start, you know, shampooing cars, cleaning cars up. And it's, you know, it's mostly you're using your labor to make money, and you're making quite a bit.
Exactly.
Another business I'd give you, shampoo and carpets.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Shampoo and carpets, you know. You go out, you rent yourself a shampoo, or you buy a shampoo. These things now are very inexpensive. There's three business right there: shampoo
Cool.
and carpets,
Cleaning cars,
landscaping, and then in the summer you landscape, in the winter you shovel snow.
Exactly.
You know, all of these businesses are, and you see people now that maybe have 5 or 6 locations, 40, 50 employees. They started out with a little pickup truck,
They
a
started
little
small.
shovel, and going from one place to the other. And, you know, I myself, if, you know, someone shows up and says, hey, I can shovel all of that snow out there for $25 or $50 or whatever, and I'm like, sure, go ahead. You
Right.
know, they can go out and they could probably do that in 15, 20 minutes.
Exactly.
You know?
Hey, this day and age, they don't have cash, have them Cash App you or Zelle, anything. There's multiple ways to be in business right now.
So one of the things, because I think about the program every week, and I say, you know, one of the things that we have to do is to show people how to create wealth,
Yes.
how to make money inexpensively. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to get you on a track where we can show you how you can create wealth and create money so that you can sustain yourself. And not only that, but your family and hire people.
Exactly.
And the government will help you.
Exactly.
Maybe you want to close it out today.
Yep, and I was going to say tune in next week, because as we'll have more information regarding what the Federal Reserve is going to do, and we'll continue this series of ways to make wealth in order to, you know, become independent.
Right. We want you to create wealth for yourself and for your family.
Yes.
So until next week, God bless.
Amen.